Oh, check this out.
Kill you! I just seen death!
Do you know what the most frightening thing in the world is?
All right, I like
New
it.
intro.
I like it.
had these-
Whatever fucking spider thing was doing that's pretty creepy.
You like that?
Yeah.
I had to do something new for Halloween.
Okay.
I've been working on that for a bit.
I think that one should stay around.
All right.
Good.
It was either that or me dancing to the song in a Speedo for 30 seconds.
Twerking.
All oiled up.
It's just twerk, bro.
Yeah, anybody can twerk these days. We saw the video of it.
That's what I'm saying. And then it's also scary, right? Maybe.
What? Cut to
Halloween
me having
thing?
like 6 million followers. Holy shit.
OnlyFans.
So this is just going to be a short episode today, everybody, because it's almost well, I'm going to pretend it's Halloween. It's Halloween.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers keep knocking.
God damn, they want that candy. So last week I said I would talk about my experiences that I've had throughout my life, no matter how small or big. I'm afraid that I built them up too much, though, and that I've overhyped them, and now people are going to be disappointed when they hear them.
No, well, it's not overhyped, but you've been like, I'll just do it one day. It could also seem like you don't want to talk about it now. Like you'll say, take some time later. So
yeah,
it would be interesting to know what the fuck is going on.
I guess I'll let our vast audience decide on that one. Let's see.
The millions!
If it was a good choice or not. Yeah, I first off, I want to talk about the house that I'm currently in. I've been living here for over a decade now, and this is a family house. This belonged to my grandma, and then at a certain point when she moved out, I took over rental for it, so I pay rent here. And this house was built in 1922. I don't know a lot about the person that owned it before my grandma did, but I know that it was an older man who had a family. He died here. His family actually stopped by one day when I was doing yard work in the front yard, and it's like, we used to live here. Can you come show us around? And they didn't want to talk too much about their dad. They were still like, it was like a sore thing for them, like they were still upset about it.
Yeah.
By all accounts, a very nice guy. Like there was no I didn't mention it. They're like, we don't talk about our father, or anything like that. But so yeah, family did live here at one point. And when I first moved in, everything was fine for a week, no problems. And I was really scared I've never lived alone before. And I've had this constant fear all my life of being like broken into while at the house alone. I have nightmares about it.
Yeah.
So like the first week I was a little bit hesitant, but I was sleeping here and everything seemed to be going okay. The weeks after that, though, things started happening around the house. When I was moving stuff around, getting things organized, the very first thing that happened was I was sitting in the living room and I saw something pass from the corner of my eye in this room. So if you look behind me, this is the entrance right here, and it looked like someone passed from this area over into the studio, into the art studio. Just a quick blur.
Fast.
What they call like a shadow person or something.
Yeah.
I didn't think much of it. And I had some friends over, and the layout in the living room used to be where anyone visiting would be sitting in the caddy corner and they would be looking in this way. And people started mentioning, they were like, whoa, I just saw like a shadow or something.
They kept seeing like a blur too.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 times it happened. 2 different people saw it. I never felt like uneasy. I never felt like dread or anything like that. But people were definitely seeing something. about 3 weeks after living here, I was moving some stuff from my room to the art studio, some supplies. I'm walking past the bathroom, which is just behind me there. Between this room and my room is the bathroom. So I was walking past, and I sort of did a side glance as I was carrying something into the bathroom as I'm walking past, and I see a pair of bare feet that are up against the wall, behind the towel rack.
Fuck.
So I did a quick double take and they were gone. But I saw a pair of men's feet, like decent size. Of course, no one's going to be standing behind a towel rack because there's about this much space.
Yeah.
So it just looked like a pair of feet coming out from behind a towel.
What the fuck?
Up against the wall. Real fast. I saw it and then I didn't see it.
Yeah.
But it was enough to make me like stop in my tracks and get like,
you
know that feeling you get like when you almost fall?
Yeah.
And you get that rush.
Yeah.
It's like I guess they call it fight or flight sort of thing.
Yeah. You feel if you happen to be sleepy, you're no longer sleepy anymore. You fucking
Yeah,
alert.
Exactly. Or it's the same feeling you get when you're falling asleep and it feels like you're falling, and you jump up and it sort of snaps you out of it. So a couple times I had friends stay the night here, like up here late. Maybe they got a little too drunk or something, and they decide I'm just going to crash on the couch on the living room. This happened twice. I'd get up in the morning, and they'd be waking up or something, and they say like, "Why were you walking around last night?"
Oh shit!
And the way the couch is set up, if I come out of my room and go into the living room, if I like just walk straight ahead, if I look to the side, there's the couch, like the back of the person's head would be there.
Yeah.
So 2 different people said they were sleeping and they felt like someone was right next to the couch and looking over at them, like looming over them and looking down from behind them.
Damn.
Totally unprompted. 2 different people said that. Didn't have any other prior knowledge of the other person saying it.
I don't know. I don't like that.
You don't like that?
As the
like
person sleeping? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to come off as like, it sounded like, I was perving around it and I like watching them sleep or something.
Yeah.
I wasn't. Like they could hear me snoring in the other room. And then after that, nothing for years and years. So it just put it out of my mind. I didn't think anything more about it until 2019. My grandma passed away on Christmas morning, 2019. And about a week or so after that, I was in my bedroom cleaning, straightening things up.
Yeah.
And I have like a vanity type thing. It's a cabinet with a big mirror. It was one of her pieces of furniture that I never used. And I had some different bottles, like maybe like Febreze, and I had a big bottle of starch I used for ironing shirts, make the collars crisp. My grandma hated starch. She wouldn't use it. My grandma was sewed a lot of her own clothes. She was a green thumb. She grew all of her own plants. Like this place used to be loaded with plants, but very self-sufficient, child of the Depression, did everything on her own pretty much.
Like in a budget.
But she had this thing against starch. She didn't like starch in shirts. And I was cleaning and I heard a shh. And I looked behind me and the can of spray starch is on the ground in front of the vanity. This thing was sitting by the mirror, probably about this far from the edge. So what I heard first was a sliding sound. And then a bang.
Like it fell.
I looked around for my cat. My cat's asleep in the living room. I can see the slide marks on the vanity from where it went. It was dusty. It slid out and fell. And then nothing after that. I don't know if that was my grandma's way of like saying goodbye and telling me not to fucking use starch in my shirts.
Shit, like no fucking starch on my cabinet.
Yeah, exactly. But it definitely freaked me out for a good week or so.
Yeah, that's a good amount of movement to freak you out. It's not an accident. It didn't just tip over.
No, and you know, someone who's a cat owner, those things love tipping over stuff off cabinets. If anything's even close to the edge, they'll come over and just knock it out because they're assholes.
Yeah.
I got 2 of them in the other room right now. So those are my experiences in this house. Other than strange out-of-body experiences I've had while dreaming, because I'm obsessed with dreaming and lucid dreaming. I've had some strange experiences with that where like left my body, walked in the other room, came back and saw myself sleeping and went like, oh, that's weird. And as soon as I realized it, I wake up. That kind of thing. That all aside, the main thing that happened to me happened when I was around 7 or 8 years old. Wasn't in this house. This takes place in my childhood home, which is a few miles south of here. And I have to refer back to some of the notes that I made just to make sure that I was remembering it all correctly. And so my parents used to fight a lot, quite a lot, like an everyday thing, screaming, throwing shit around, and you could you could hear it through the whole house.
Like real, like
not like
loud.
Like loud, not like hitting each other, but almost to that point where
it's not a secret they were fighting.
No. Yeah. And the walls are thin. Yeah. So I used to spend my nights like covering my ears, trying not to hear it, and just trying to go to bed, you know, upset or whatever was going on, and just trying to ignore it. Yeah. My bedroom shared a wall with my parents. And so I was right next to it all the time. So usually my brothers, we all slept in one room when I was around that age. And my brothers would help me like get my mind off of it, distract me. Mm-hmm. And one night they were not there. I forget what the reason was. I think they were at a sleepover, or maybe there was a party. So I got into the habit, even when they were there, of going out of my room at night and sleeping on the floor of the living room. I don't know why I did it. It was like a comfort thing. Yeah. I didn't even sleep on the couch. I would sleep on the floor next to the couch. And it got to be a habit, like an every night sort of thing. I had a problem with nightmares when I was a kid. What they called them night terrors, where it's like an extremely bad nightmare.
You would like freeze up and stuff?
It wasn't like sleep paralysis. It was just like just a very bad nightmare, like wake up screaming and like wouldn't stop screaming. I had this thing about a witch that was outside pulling me outside with her mind, and like I couldn't grab anything, so just like pulled me outside.
That does suck.
You know, the part that sucks is when I saw Insidious, that opening scene where it's panning around the house, and then it gets to the window, and there's the old like lady with holding the candle, and her face lights up. That was like the exact image in my head, and it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
So so they were gone, and I decided I was scared. I was really scared of the dark when I was young, and I didn't want to sleep in the room alone with my brothers being gone and everything. And because of this habit, I just grabbed my blanket and my pillow and dragged them onto the living room. I had a Land Before Time blanket, and I threw it on. I know it's a very important detail. I put on the bathroom light, so there's some light streaming into the living room.
Okay.
Now my parents' room is behind me. Couch is up against the wall to the entrance of their living room, their bedroom, and I go to sleep. The first thing I hear when I wake up was I woke up to footsteps. They were coming from my parents' bedroom, but I knew it wasn't my dad because I could hear him snoring far away. My dad used to snore like a chainsaw. Like you could hear it through the whole house.
Yeah.
Like really bad sleep apnea. And he's a big guy, so of course. So I start hearing like slow, determined steps. And they're getting closer and closer to the living room, doorway closest to me, right behind my head. And what I hear next is what one of the things that stays with me the most. Other than the footsteps, I start hearing talking. And it's not just like normal talking. The only way I can describe it is sort of a low, garbled mumble. Sort of like a constant sort of chanting type thing, but not like repeating, like gibberish. And it's getting louder and louder and louder. So I closed my eyes because I knew it wasn't my dad. I sure as shit wasn't my mom because, of course, everyone knows their mother's voice. It's something closer to a growl than a voice, but there's definitely some like trying to form words, but constant, no breaths or anything. I hear it come through the doorway behind me, and I shut my eyes as tight as I can, and I am not sleeping. I swear to God, I'm not sleeping. I was full on awake, like sweating, and I have my eyes shut as tight as I can.
Yeah.
And I feel something pause behind me, stop, and then the talking stops. And I just feel this looming over me. And the next thing I feel are fingers running through my hair.
Fuck.
And I'm just like, I'm getting chills right now just thinking about it, but I just froze up. Like, I don't think I've ever been so still and like frozen in fear. My heart's beating.
Yeah, fucking panicking.
Oh yeah, like almost a full-on panic attack. So as the fingers are running through my hair, they start to tighten their grip on my hair, really slowly, grabbing a big handful of hair. And I had longer curly hair when I was young, so it gets tighter and tighter and tighter until it feels like my hair is about to be ripped out from the roots. Like it almost felt like if someone they could have lifted me up by my hair if they wanted to. It was that strong. My whole head felt like it was on fire. And just as I'm about to open my mouth to scream, the hand released. So remember, I'm laying on the ground. So something had to bend over, grab my hair, and start tightening it.
Yeah.
And I could hear all this happen. I could hear someone stop, someone loom over me, bend down, and start touching my head. So I work up the courage to open my eyes. And just as I open my eyes, I see a foot come down right near my head. Maybe like 6 inches away from my head.
Like on your left side or like next to you?
So yeah, I'm looking at majority of the living room on my left side, and I see a foot come down like that. It's a long, narrow foot, and the thing about it is it looks like it's been dipped in red paint. Not even like blood, like red paint. It's wet, and it's bright red. and but it doesn't leave a mark or anything. It just sort of like right near me. And I shut my eyes again, as tight as they'll go, and I just pretend to be asleep. And after that, I start hearing again, and slowly walking away.
Fuck.
And as it's walking away, I'm hearing the like getting lighter and lighter, going in from my parents' room into my bedroom. So crossing from my parents' room into the living room into my bedroom. It's like a big U-turn because I shared a wall with them.
Yeah.
So I just shut my eyes as tight as they would go. And what felt like hours, I just stood there sort of shaking and sweating and scared. And then eventually I probably just passed out because I was so tired.
Fuck.
And nothing ever happened. And nothing else ever happened there. That was my one experience.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah. And I didn't tell anyone for decades about it. I finally told my friend Scott and Crystal about it because I had put it way back behind me and hadn't even thought about it for years. And I forget I saw something. I don't know what it was. I think I saw like a red foot on TV or something, and it all like rushed back to me.
Yeah.
It's like this repressed memory. And I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot that happened. I didn't tell anyone about it. I was so embarrassed. Like, oh no, they're going to make fun of me and all this shit. So I'd never told anybody. And yeah, that was the major thing that happened to me when I was young. I never told my brothers about it. Never told my parents about it. They'll probably listen to this podcast and think I'm crazy or something, but
that's the main reason people don't say shit, because it seems fucking crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, people don't want to look crazy in front of other people.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It happened, and
that's what I think.
Yeah, I suppose there's a very small fraction that it all could have been a night terror, that I was dreaming it all, but I've never been that scared that long while sleeping.
And still never wake up.
Yeah. Never wake up. And I just know in my heart that it wasn't a dream. I just know. So, happy Halloween.
I got my next costume. I got my next costume.
You're gonna come to work with a big red foot, just like
I want to stomp on you. Dude.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So yeah, now everyone knows what happened to me, and I don't have to mention it in the podcast anymore.
That's why you're the way you are. Huh?
That's why I am the way I am.
It's all starting to make sense.
That's why I buy shitty Trump watches and spend all my money on Trump coin, because I was traumatized by some sort of Wendigo at night.
Dude, that shit is scary. Like, I'm trying to think of what I would do. I think it would be the same, because I'll be too fucking scared. The problem here with me, how do you go back to the room? Like, I assume your next couple of nights were fucked up, right? Like,
I was a strange little kid. I had lots of little like things that I had to do to go to sleep. My like blanket had to be turned a certain way. The dinosaurs on my blanket couldn't be facing my feet; they had to be facing my head. I had to have a light a certain way, even though it wasn't on. I had a lot of weird things. Okay, and OCD runs in my family. I don't think I'm OCD, but I definitely had some tendencies when I was young. I mean, my stories feel lame compared to the awesome things that have happened to you, but
that's a good one.
I think it's interesting enough to mention it on the show.
Because that one's scary as fuck.
It was scary. Yeah, I still think about it on like a yearly. I'll think about it once or twice on a yearly basis, especially around Halloween. I'll think about it.
And I could imagine you putting it behind your head, like whatever. Like, I'm never gonna tell that it was probably dumb. And the more you think about it, you're like, fuck no, I should fucking say it.
Yeah.
And see what's up with it, you know?
Yeah, well, the thing was, is I finally, Crystal, who's been on the podcast before, obviously she's very open to these sort of things. She has done paranormal investigations before, so I felt comfortable telling it to her.
It's easier.
And her husband Scott, who have been friends with forever. It's easier to do that. But it's a little bit stranger doing on this podcast because, I don't know how people react to it. But yeah, so that's my story. Short episode. If you have any comments, if you want to talk about how lame I was for an 8-year-old boy.
If anybody wants to make the connection that Matthew has something with feet.
Yeah.
Remember, he saw 2 feet.
I saw feet. Someone else mentioned it to me when I told them the stories. They're like, "Why are you seeing so many feet, dude?" And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a foot guy.
Feet are like
do nothing for me.
It was like a lot. Like I was trying to. I sort of imagined this thing that you saw, or like chanting or whatever. Sort of like those things from. Fuck, I forgot the names, but the ones from Lord of the Rings. They're on fucking horses. They're like
the wraiths.
The wraiths, yeah.
Yeah. The ring.
That's how I imagine this thing, but like I guess red.
I imagine it as like a 7-foot tall red naked man.
Oh, you think it was naked?
Well, I don't know what its face looked like. I just remember it being. It felt like it was tall, but everything feels like it's tall when you're 8 years old.
But if it's stomping around like that, you imagine it fucking heavy and.
Yeah, it was heavy steps, and they're very determined, slow, and trotting. Boom, boom, boom. So, in my mind, it was a giant. Yeah, I'll probably think about that till the day I die. Probably. Yeah. If anyone has any comments about it, please leave some comments. And I'm gonna get this show out on Halloween if I can, and the audio and the video. There won't be a lot of editing. But I put together some little pictures of what I saw as close as I could to it, and I'll be editing those in so you could see.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, and then join us very soon for another episode. Search Gangline Assembly on audio to find this podcast. Some people are having issues finding it. Just gotta search Gangline Assembly. But on Spotify, you can search Macabrecast. You'll find it as well. And check out the TikTok, Macabrecast on TikTok. I can't remember if it's Macabrecast. Yeah, okay.
I think that was
watch all the little clips, and everyone have a happy Halloween. Stay safe out there.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker. I'm gonna end I'm gonna end it with Busta Rhymes going trick or treat, motherfucker.
Does he say that?
Yeah, he says that in Halloween H2O.
Oh, that fucking stupid.
Yeah,
is
he
it
breaks into the burning house. Trick or treat, motherfucker.
LL Cool J?
He wasn't one of them, but this is definitely Busta Rhymes.
Oh, okay.
All right, everybody. We'll see you.
All right. Later.